You're listening to the Young at Heart Radio Show on KTMS News Talk 990. Stay tuned because next up is The Hop. That's Home Ownership Podcast with Village Properties Realtor David Charles Allen.
Welcome to The Hop. This is David Charles Allen, Realtor of Village Properties in Santa Barbara, California, with my great friend and co-host, Patty Teal. How are you doing today, Patty?
I'm doing great, David. How's the weather in Santa Barbara?
We had almost a week full of 80-degree temperatures, so it felt like summer here in winter.
Nice.
Just started to cool back down. We get a little wind, so back in the 60s today.
Well, I've had a little bit of a roller coaster ride here, too. It's been chilly. I mean, really quite chilly where you need a heavy jacket, like a ski jacket in the morning. And now later this week, it's going to be in the high 80s. So it's a little up and down. It's kind of funny.
You're going to mix just like we are. Yeah, we're going to see dropping back down to what we call winter weather. So high 50s, mid 60s throughout the next week or so.
I like that kind of weather, though.
It's nice. It does dip down even lower at night, but you still get to be outside enjoying the sun and you don't have to have 10 different layers on. So it's nice.
Right. Too chilly for me to go in the ocean when it's that cold, but, but otherwise I like it. Mm-hmm.
And then, we have possibly some swell coming in as well with all this wind. It could be pushing a lot of waves down. If it decides to calm down these next few days, we might have some fun days out there for surfing.
That sounds fun too. So if it's windy and wavy, that sometimes doesn't work as well, though, does it, David? It gets a little choppy at times.
It's not very fun to surf when it's super windy. Unless the wind is offshore. Otherwise, you don't get to ride the wave very long. It's just breaking on you and it's not a consistent ride.
Well, you're the expert. I only know from what I've heard from my son who is a surfer, but it's really not my thing. I think it's fascinating, though, and love that you guys enjoy it so much.
We'll jump into how real estate's been performing. So again, we've been talking about interest rates for so long. Will they go up? Will they stay consistent? And we hit that big spike. And it's now I'm hearing that we could see another large spike even before the end of the year. So it's at 4% for 30-year conforming and 3.5 for jumbo 30-year. So relatively, it's a 0.25% spike. It could be more. But at the same time, when we were at 2.75 for a while, that's a huge change in terms of 4%.
Yeah, that is. Since we've been doing the hop together, that is the highest I believe that it's been, even though relatively speaking, that's still pretty low. But I wonder if it will keep going. And I wonder if that will make prices on houses drop a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we've talked about it so many times. It really depends what market you're in. It goes both ways. Some people are going to be priced out, so to say, because of the interest rate rising. But then it's also going to make people more aggressive in purchasing a home with the fear that it might go up even another percent. So that might make prices rise too. It's very emotional right now in terms of people buying homes. And it's just very difficult with all the supply not there. But as you're saying, it's still historically low interest rates. So it's still a positive in that regard.
Now, David, this is just a scenario. We don't know that it's going to happen, but if it would keep rising and rising and rising, kind of along with inflation, would that make prices drop down?
It's hard to say. It's really what's the job growth going to be? Are people's wages going up? Is the stock market still producing well? There's so many factors that go into what generates someone's ability to purchase a home and wealth. A lot of it's on stuff they can't control. Is there going to be any government policy or anything like that? It's crazy to think, but a lot of it's out of your hands. Even though you're working a job and doing your best to succeed, you really don't have a say in a lot of these things, which makes it tough for some people.
Well, it will be an interesting ride as we ride it together and all find out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You just don't know what's going to happen. You can assume based on strategizing on how people react to certain things, but at the end of the day, one or two things could make or break everything. So it's really interesting. You just can't predict the future in a sense.
Right.
I'll run through the statistics through this last week. We had 36 new listings, 3 price changes, 30 that closed, 39 that went pending, 3 that expired, and 6 coming soon. So again, we have more new listings coming to market slightly, but again, no buildup of the supply. So staying consistent there. We want to see numbers in the 50s and 60s in terms of new listings. But as we're talking about, it's hard to get a new home if you're thinking about selling. There's just a lot of difficult situations involved in even selling your home. So that's why you're seeing less people even selling right now.
Right. That makes total sense. So, David, I wanted to bring up an article that a listener sent to us, and it's called Crypto Cribs. And it says people who have made fortunes investing in digital currency or who helped build the vast crypto industry are the new darlings of the high-end residential property market. I thought that was really interesting. And then it goes on to say later in the article, real estate developers are jumping through hoops to accept crypto. Agents are trying to lure crypto enthusiasts to their high-end listings with gimmicks. Brokerages are hosting cryptocurrency seminars for their agents. Increasingly, sellers are openly advertising that they would be willing to accept cryptocurrency in exchange for their homes. So I wanted to get your opinion on all of that and wondered if that's going on in Santa Barbara.
No, I haven't seen any of it in Santa Barbara. I know I had a client who wanted to pay in crypto. It has to go through a totally different escrow office. There's only a certain amount of escrow officers that were even going to accept crypto. So it's a huge hurdle to even get by that. Typical title and escrow companies aren't going to accept crypto as a payment. There's going to have to be an intermediary that's essentially paying with cash and selling your crypto at the same time. It's not accepting crypto, transferring from one wallet to another. And I think only a few amount of title and escrow companies are even doing that. You know, it hasn't come about in Santa Barbara specifically, so I can't touch on it so much, but that's what I have seen and what I do know about it.
Well, David, these are such interesting times, and I know a lot of banks are getting into crypto, so it will be so fascinating to see what the next year brings and which altcoins might be the new winners. And I do know personally some crypto millionaire / billionaire kind of people who just got into it at the perfect time. But of course, it's a volatile market. You have to be careful because it can go up and down and up and down. And I'm certainly no expert, but I do think an opportunity to make or lose a lot of money. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, crypto is an interesting subject about what currency is and what currency even means, and having a digital currency, so to say, with no real backing, and even the dollar has no real backing. It's definitely a conversation starter in terms of what it means for everyone.
Right. And as I'm looking at this article a little closer, I think some of these home buyers that bought in crypto were from New York, some were from Miami. So definitely it was big city.
There's a lot of people that made a lot of money off of it, and good for them. Good
yeah.
for them.
Sounds exciting. Well, how are those pups at home, the fur babies?
Everyone's doing really well. They're loving life. Moose is getting huge. Mango's enjoying his life outside now, and he just comes in to harass me every once in a while, but he loves being an outdoor cat.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see your little fur baby family in person. As soon as we get done recording, I'm determined to take Ollie to the park. He actually was getting a little chubby, I believe, and his harness has gotten looser just from that little bit of walking. So that's good. He still does get scared, which only means I need to take him more places and get out there more. Good for me too.
Get him some exercise and get him socialized. It's perfect.
Absolutely. Well, David, thank you so much. If someone wants to get a hold of you to talk about real estate, particularly in Santa Barbara, how would they reach you?
My number is 805-617-9311, or my email is david@davidcharlesallen.com.
Thank you, David. I know our listeners really appreciate your advice and listening to all that you have to tell us.
All right, Patty, you're so welcome.
Thank you.
Give it a go next time.
Bye.